Michael's teammate, Emmitt Smith. Thank you for dropping by.
My rookie roommate. Yeah, the boy right here. My roommate, everything. Emmitt was a rookie in his first time. We had won 4 games in 2 years, and we drafted Emmitt. He was my roommate first game. I said, young buck, what you want to do? He said, oh, I'm going to win. I'm going to be all-time leading rusher, and we're going to win some Super Bowl. I said, take your butt to sleep. I won 4 games in 2 years, and you talking like this. But actually, he ended up doing just that. I consider that to be some of the greatest things that we've experienced in life. To hear guys speak like that in the Genesis and then watch them walk it out, talk it out, and get it done. So I love this dude, man.
I love you more, man.
Michael actually just told this story, but he says it very often that the whole offensive line was about to get cut before you showed up.
All of them was out of there.
I mean, he was there when things was at its lowest, up until the point where we see things are now. And so, but he was there at the very beginning. The one beautiful thing about being there at the very beginning, you see the vision, you see how things get lined up from an operational standpoint with the organization as well as from the team standpoint.
Yeah.
And we just started working, and Jimmy started rotating guys in and out till he found the right mix. And that right mix, he locked and loaded, and then he got rid of the offensive coordinator and brought in somebody that would bring balance to the whole overall offense, which made everything become better because the defense is already pretty good. We were just not as efficient as we needed to be.
Well, with 3 Super Bowl champions here now, what does it feel like to take the field on Super Bowl Sunday?
For me, I was excited the very first one. I mean, this right here, this game here is the ultimate game. This is the game that you've been working your whole entire life to get to this moment so you can go out there and not only showcase your talent in front of the country, but also the entire world. I've always been one of those guys that if I'm on a football field, I want everybody to walk away and say, man, I just saw the most incredible football player play the game of football. I wanted to give the best performance. I had goals and aspirations of rushing for some crazy amount of yards in the Super Bowl game and becoming the MVP, et cetera, et cetera. But I had to walk it out. Never rushed for over 200-some-odd yards in the Super Bowl, but I did become an MVP. Sometimes you get close enough to the point where your team, you, and your performance command certain kind of accolades.
Yes, for me, it was a stress level, right? Because I had gone to the AFC Championship game. A couple of years later, I'm in the NFC Championship game. We beat the Philadelphia Eagles. We go to San Diego, and the Ambien wouldn't allow me to sleep for whatever reason. I'm taking Ambien back to back, but I can't
You're
sleep.
over-medicating.
I can't sleep though, man. And so I'm sitting there, and the crazy thing about it is I stayed up the entire night. I watched the Australian Open, but then once that was over, I went out by the elevators. You know how we have security by the elevators. Right. I sit down with my legs at the meetings. I sat down next to the elevator and talked to them jokers till it was time the next morning to get on the bus to go to the stadium. So because my brain, I wanted to win so bad.
You didn't go to sleep until you got on the bus.
I didn't go to sleep at all.
At all?
Oh, you ain't gonna be able to not after.
I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't go to sleep after the game either. We win.
You really ain't gonna sleep.
I had a big party at the W. Right. We win.
That's how you.
I probably didn't go to sleep for a day and a half.
Right.
Yeah. But I wanted to take the field and I wanted to do great things, but I had to visualize it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm talking and I'm visualizing what could I do? How could I beat him on this route? Man, I'm telling you, Emmitt, it was
into a frenzy.
Yeah.
You work yourself into a frenzy. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand.
We're watching Kansas City do something incredible, something that we did not pull off, winning 3 straight Super Bowls. When you see this now, first, how much does it make you think about we didn't get it done? And do you think Kansas City can get it done?
I think they can get it done, and here's why I think that. It's a completely different situation than what we were under. If you can recall back, Mike, you know how you felt when we went back-to-back, and then all of a sudden, 2 months later, your head coach from Miami, our head coach from Dallas, is no longer our head coach. You remember how that felt. And when you think about how that rest of that season went, how disconnected and how disjointed, how emotionally distraught, we weren't quite the same emotional focused team as we were when we won that Super Bowl. And Kansas City doesn't have those things or those type of distractions to deal with. So right now, they're laser focused from Super Bowl, the first one, the second, and now they locked and loaded on this third one. Because if we would have been locked and loaded on that third one, we would have had one laser-focused mission, and everybody would have been on the same page. But since that didn't happen, we had to learn how to regroup. We had to learn how to lead ourselves and trust the things that we learned through the first 3 or 4 or 5 years with Jimmy and take that with us on our own. So we had to man up ourselves, and I think that's what we did, and that's the reason why we went back to the Super Bowl.
The legend Emmitt Smith with us. Thank you so much for coming by. So, Michael, this is Josh Allen's first MVP. Do you agree that he should have won MVP?
Yes, absolutely. I've been saying that all year, and because it's what you did with what you had, and Josh Allen took less and actually did more. I must lay on the table this. We always had that indicator that you just mentioned. Oh, who wins first team All-Pro usually is the MVP, and Lamar Jackson won first team All-Pro. I'm just saying, I'm not into conspiracy theories and all of that, but whew, after Josh Allen beat Lamar Jackson, if you had Lamar Jackson for MVP, that just might not look right. I think they could have gone in there and did some of that old recount stuff. You know what I mean? And said, wait a minute, we can't have
those new voting machines.
Right. Those new voting machines.
The system is broken.
You're right, and they should wait.
They should wait. You can't be the MVP and not be first team, right? That don't make sense.
I mean, it's a regular season award.
Right.
There is more nuance to it than just, the statistics and who he's a second team All-Pro.
I can't be MVP and second team, though.
Correct.
There's only two.
I'm with you on that.
I'm the best player
and that's why they went in there and bloop, bloop, bloop.
They can't. You gotta, right. You gotta name. All of that gotta get named after.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like MVP named first, and then come out with the first and second team selections.
Yeah, I was, like Michael said, the recounting and the blue, 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 blue. I was on the blue, 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 because I had Lamar, as the MVP based on the statistical. Yeah. I did what y'all do. I read the statistics, right? And looked at it and pushed him up and said, but then after he took care of business, like Michael said, against Lamar, I had to go back in, reevaluate the situation, roll it up, and say, I had to erase it and go back in and say, you know what? Based on his team success and the long ranger out there all by himself, although he has some other players, but he is really, truly carrying his football team. He really did carry them to the AFC Championship game.
Right.
Opportunity presented itself. Lamar didn't get there this year. Okay? So you look at that, and the system is flawed. They should count it as a regular season, but also take a look at the postseason because most players most players that are in the MVP conversation, real conversation, not this Joe Burrow threw for 5,000 yards, so we want to add him in there late.
Right.
But that real conversation, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Right.
They really are.
And they're gonna make a deep run.
And they probably gonna make a deep run.
Look, Saquon Barkley should have been the MVP this year. What they need to do is they need to make a quarterback award so that we can actually have a real nuanced conversation about who the MVP of the league is. Since they aren't going to give it to Saquon Barkley, who is the only one that we're talking about that's playing in the Super Bowl this weekend, it came down to Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, deservedly so. You always talk about distance traveled, and Josh Allen went further with less than Lamar had. Lamar had 3 other first-team All-Pros on his team, 2 second-team All-Pros, 8 Pro Bowlers outside of himself, who was obviously also a Pro Bowler this season. And you shouldn't get knocked for having a great team. But when we're talking about looking at just statistics and not the nuance of what it was, this was a very even split, and the voters said it. It was close. It was splitting hairs. They both had MVP-level seasons this year.
Sure.
So Josh Allen got his first MVP, and it was deserved. And if Lamar had won it, it would also be deserved.
Yeah,
the only one who got snubbed was Saquon.
Right, and that's why I like what you're talking about, because there should be an MVQB.
Yes.
Most valuable quarterback, and then an MVP, the most valuable player that's not a quarterback, and give other guys an opportunity to win that MVP. I like that, because we're always trying to put the quarterback up there and give them that spot.
We know how valuable the quarterback position is to winning, and so they obviously get that extra
But
swing.
we give them enough extra when we're giving them the $60 million. They got enough extra. So now we're going to give them the trophy where they go get the commercial. You already got the money. Let somebody else get the MVP. You the MVQB.
It's time for a quarterback award. But how should Lamar feel about, do you think this is a snub, Keyshawn? How do you think he should feel about not winning?
It's not a snub. You just got to be realistic at the situation and look at it. The NFL has been trying their best. No, they have been trying for every year to make sure that Josh Allen's name at the start of the season, deservingly so, is in that MVP conversation.
Right.
This year, he did it all by himself. So it's easier to put him in that position.
Wait.
What?
You mean this year he did it all by himself? Like
This year.
you're trying to say Josh Allen, the NFL's trying to help Josh Allen get somewhere?
No, what I'm saying is that I'm saying every single year, Michael, preseason comes, he's in the MVP conversation. But he hadn't done enough. He hadn't done enough to warrant that. Now you look at his entire team. It's basically a long ranger.
Okay.
It allows
That's
the
what you-
writers and the people, and I put them in the NFL, to be able to make that easy pin swap and say, you know what? He's good. He's good this year.
But it wasn't a snub. Like, they both
No,
had
it's not a
MVP
snub.
level.
No, it's not a snub. He shouldn't feel anything. He should
Yeah.
just be like, whatever, man. I'm trying to win a championship right now. He's got two of them.
And that's
got two
why
of them.
that's why I think he should call Josh and say, I'm glad you got that one, buddy. Thanks. I'm glad. You want 3 MVPs and no Super Bowls?
Right.
We gonna chop you up.
Right.
We gonna chop you up. You get 3 and no Super Bowl. They were doing the same thing.
At least get to the Super Bowl.
Right.
game.
You gotta get there. Right. We were doing that to the Joker.
Yeah.
You know, after he won all them MVPs,
yeah.
like, come on, man, what's up? Right. So, you know, once you start getting these individual awards, that means you're playing great in the regular season, and you're having no success in the postseason. We extrapolate that as, he's choking when the pressure comes, and that's not what he's doing.
Another one.
That's not what he's
Well,
doing.
you had Josh as the MVP pretty much all season.
Yes.
Do you think that Lamar should feel some type of way about it?
No, I don't think Lamar should feel no type of way about it. I mean, I think when you reach a certain level, Lamar's going to be in the MVP talks for many more years, and he's already won it twice. Like, I know he's more upset for not being in his playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's what he's upset about. He's upset that he got to come to New Orleans and go to these awards, not bring home a trophy, and not play Sunday. Like, that's what he's upset about.
That's what he should be upset
Like, yeah.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.